All right, what do we have here? Well, we got a press conference here with Trump officially signing the big beautiful bill into law. Let me tell you, folks, the biggest, most beautiful bill on the planet is this bill. Now let's see, what do we got here? He makes like a whole like pageantry about it or something. When does he pop up? Like 6 minutes in. Damn. 6 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and First Lady Melania Trump.
Wait, did they have to announce that twice? That's really funny. It's the Death of America bill. Let's go.
We love you.
Uh-huh.
Air Force Base, escorted by 2 F-35 fighters in honor of all our military personnel who participated in Operation Midnight Hammer and who are currently serving both home and abroad, protecting our nation's freedom.
Alright, like flyover and stuff. Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States and First Lady Melania Trump.
Alright, cool. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and that is some
All this pageantry just to sign for a fucking damn bill. Like, it's so silly, dude.
especially after what happened just a week ago when you look at that big, beautiful plane, and the other ones were something. It was an incredible mission, and I think I can say very proudly, and I don't have to quote the polls, that our country is more proud right now than it's been in many, many years. We have pride, we have dignity, we have something that's happened miraculously so fast. You know that our military now is the most sought-after job there's ever been. Serving in our military 1 year ago, people...
I wonder why everyone wants to serve in the fucking military. No, there couldn't be anything in particular with like the bill that you passed is going to put a bunch of people into poverty and such that they have to go to the military in order to be able to survive. It couldn't have anything to do with that at all. Not at all. And also, like, again, like, the bombing of the Iranian nuclear sites did basically nothing. Again, I've talked about this before, but if the U.S. did not notify the Iranians when and where they were going to bomb, and there was fissile material in, well, those facilities, if they get bombed, nuclear dust is going to get shot up into the atmosphere, spread all across Iran, irradiating everyone, and irradiating people around in the, well, you know, irradiating people in the surrounding countries, which would cause a complete fucking diplomatic shitstorm. It'd be really, really stupid. Yeah, the Iranians said it did nothing. Israelis said it did nothing. His own intelligence agency said it did nothing. Everyone said it did nothing. Like, it's stupid. But yeah, Trump is just like, it did everything. It did so good. Like, what do you think is the likelihood that someone lied to him, said that it did do something in order to, like, make sure his, like, ego was stroked or something? That's, like, the only thing I can really think of.
They didn't want to join our military. They didn't want to join our police or firefighters. They didn't want to join anything having to do with our country. And now, as you probably know, the enlistment is at an all-time record. We're packed. We're full. And I just think that's so important because that was so sad 1 year ago when I heard those statistics.
Listen, I'm okay with the firefighters. All the other stuff is just like, yeah, I wonder why there are, supposed, who even knows if what he's saying is true, supposed, like, record enlistments for the military and the police. It's because he wants to build a dictatorial state that's ruled under himself. That's kind of the point. You need a lot of police in the military in order to be able to enforce that.
Statistics with a different president, but nobody wanted to join, and now we're at a record. And I will say that I just left NATO, where we had a tremendous experience. They've agreed to put up over $1 trillion a year. They went from less than 2% to 5%, and nobody thought that was possible. And they told me very strongly, the leaders of a big part of the world, respected people.
It's not even exactly true, but whatever.
They told me that, 1 year ago, your country was dead, and now you have the hottest country anywhere in the world. So that's the way it is, and that's the way we like it, and it's only going to get hotter. I promise you.
I still don't understand this.
After that spectacular display of American power, let me just say that God bless the United States military, and God bless the USA. God bless the USA. And to all Americans, I want to wish you a very happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. This is going to be something special. This spirit in this country, we haven't seen anything like it in many, many years, in decades. Let me also express our gratitude to our magnificent First Lady. She worked very hard to make this all work. And we have a fireworks display about 9 o'clock tonight. I hope you're all going to be around and watch it. I know our congressmen and our senators who are standing right here, so many of them, they did such a great job. They're going to be here. I guarantee you, they're not leaving. They're not leaving. Thanks as well to the National Park Service, the USO, and countless friends and distinguished guests. We have so many people in the audience that have so much to do with the success of our country. We've, I think, had probably the most successful almost 6 months as a president and the presidency.
Yeah, caused crashes in the economy, almost caused giant fucking wars multiple times. What else in terms of, like, great successes? directly, it might potentially lead to the deaths of millions of people abroad through the cutting of like USAID, multiple like spats and all this other stuff. I don't know what else has been a relative success here for Donald Trump. I mean, he's directly saying like melt the poor into a soup bill. Like that's what the big beautiful bill does, you know, and codifying those like 2017 like terrible tax cuts, which are only just to benefit like you know the 2017 tax cuts. We've taken a look at this before, that have now are codified into law. Trump tax cuts. Like it's just skewed to the rich, right? Will cost $1.9 trillion over 10 years. Recent estimates show that the lost temporary income and state tax cuts permanent will cost another roughly $400 billion a year starting in 2027. You know, together in 2001, 2003 tax cuts under Bush, most of which were made permanent in 2012. The law has severely eroded our country's revenue base, so that's cool. Yeah, it's a failure to deliver promised economic benefits. You know, the corporate tax rate cut would very conservatively lead to a $4,000 boost in household income. New research showed that workers who earned less than $114,000 on average in 2016 saw no change in earnings. So again, like, it's just a tax cut for the rich. That's literally the only point of it.
I think they're saying it was the best 6 months, and I know for a fact they're saying the last 2 weeks there's never been anything like it as far as winning. So as you know, 2 weeks ago, our incredible Air Force...
I mean, technically speaking, yeah, like, in terms of, like, the Project 2025 agenda, like, he has been implementing a lot of it in very rapid succession, much to probably everyone's chagrin once they realize that the effects actually happen and start to take effect. A lot of people are not going to be very fucking happy.
Pilots conducted one of the most successful military strikes in all of history. Operation Midnight Hammer, and that's exactly what it was. It was a hammer. This evening, we're honored to be joined by 150 airmen and their families from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, home of the B-2 bomber. And we've kept them a little bit on guard. We kept them a little bit, let's be a little bit quiet about it. But if you want to raise your hand very quickly, raise your hand, because you people are just incredible. They don't want to be in disguise. You know, they say, we don't have to do that. They're looking at us like we're a bunch of babies. We don't have to be in disguise. We saw all those hands go up. Thank you very much. We owe you everything. Great job. Incredible. Just a flawless, one of the most flawless military campaigns
in the
history of our country.
basically did nothing.
You remember years ago, they had helicopters crashing into each other. It was a disaster. The hostages in Iran. And we had just the opposite. We didn't have any crashes. We didn't lose any planes. We didn't lose anybody. Those beautiful planes that you saw were totally stealth. They flew right over the center of a very hostile country, and they never even saw it coming. And then they...
Yeah, the hostile country that already had most of its air defense capabilities destroyed by the Israelis. It's so fucking stupid, man. Like, the Israelis secured air dominance over, like, probably not like air supremacy, but air superiority over the Iranians, like, within the first, like, 2 days of the fucking campaign that they had. Like, to say it's just like, yeah, we did everything, we did so good, you know, look at how good we are with their air. It's fucking stupid.
They said skedaddle. They dropped the bombs. They said skedaddle. And that big sucker turned over like this on its side, and it got out of there. Well, I'll tell you what, how they do that, but they can do it. I asked our great General Kane, how do they do that? Do they really love doing that? Look at them, they're all laughing. And they said, do they really like doing it, sir? They can't wait. Better you than me.
They skedaddled,
That's all I can
folks.
say. It was a flawless mission. Every
Old
single
man
bomber,
rambling.
and it was total obliteration. Total obliteration. Now, even the fake news is admitting that. They hated to admit it, but they had no choice. That was an incredible thing, and these heroic pilots showed our enemies what it means to fly, fight, and win. To every service member who supported that mission, we have many of them here. We've made we've made you proud by supporting, but you've made us even
Again,
proud.
like, okay, it's just emblematic of like the stupid, idiotic, like fascistic tendencies that I've been constantly commenting on with like Trump, where he has to like hawk and celebrate like effectively what was like a military strike that basically did fucking nothing, like in sort of like just the sheer incompetence of like what's going on. It's like, because this strike it accomplished literally it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing. And it's just like, look at how much it did. It did everything possible. It's so good. I don't know. It's mostly like sort of like an excuse, I would say, from like Trump to just be like, please don't pay attention to like all the wretched, horrible things that I'm about to sort of like, I don't know, bring forth with my terrible, terrible bills with like the big beautiful bill and all this other complete nonsense. It's just silly, dude.
By having the courage to get in those gorgeous machines and fly through the roughest airspace anywhere in the world. And we salute you, and we honor you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Very good.
And we're also honored and delighted to be joined by hundreds of service members and military families. Those families are the best we have from all across the U.S. Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force. I love the Space Force. You know why? Because we're the ones that did it. It turned out to be a very invaluable force, actually. The Coast Guard and the Marines are incredible people on behalf of our entire nation.
What does the Space Force even accomplish, by the way? Like, I don't understand. Yeah, you did say that stealth was a scam before. Again, he speaking out of both sides of his mouth. It doesn't fucking matter. Old man rambling, it doesn't matter. He's just an idiot.
4th of July, we thank you for keeping America safe, strong, sovereign, and free. Thank you very much for being here. Great honor. And stick around for the fireworks. And our country's had so much to celebrate this Independence Day as we enter our 249th year. America's winning like never before. We're not, I'll tell you, we're in a category now that's where we've wanted to be for a long time. We suffered with 4 horrible years of embarrassment. Afghanistan may be the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. We're never going to let a thing like that happen again. Trillions of dollars of poor.
You were directly responsible for that pullout. Again, he keeps fucking mentioning it. Dude, you have a hand to play in that responsibility. You were the one who took the Taliban, the leaders of the Taliban, to fucking Camp David and basically told them everything. Like, when you were going to think about pulling out, when you were going to fucking leave, and then Joe Biden, because you wanted to create a complete political shitstorm for, well, the predecessors that were going to come in, like, every single time. You wanted to cause a political shitstorm for Joe Biden that he never fucking recovered from, and he decided to follow up through with that, well, pull out of Afghanistan. And since it was a 20-year occupation, America's been there for so long, of course it was going to be a complete shit show. And you didn't even give anyone, like, an effective, like, sort of long enough timeline for people to be able to do that pull out, like, effectively. Like, of course it was going to be a complete shit show. Like, duh. Like, no shit.
Into the United States for investment purposes. Almost $15 trillion. There's never been anything like it. There's never been anything even close. The stock market's at an all-time high. Jobs are at an all-time high. Everything's at an all-time high. And we're going to keep it that way. We're the greatest country in the world, and we're back. We're back like nobody thought possible this quickly. I thought it would take maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe even 3. And we did it in less than 6 months. So we are back and strong. We've restored American strength and deterrence on the
Yeah, there's, like, no evidence for any of these claims, but whatever.
world stage. We're respected again. The world is respecting us again. When we did NATO, those leaders came up to me and they said, you know what, we're going to go to a new level of spending because you're requesting it, sir. They didn't talk to you last president like that, I can tell you. They didn't spend any money. They didn't spend anything. In a few moments, we're going to make official the greatest victory yet. When I saw
Okay, I've talked about this before, but again, like, it's not a good thing to be increasing military spending. What does an increase in military spending like sort of signal? Oncoming, like, instability, right? The only reason why the European leaders are even, like, complying with this is to just, like, coddle to your, like, childlike idiot brain, right? To like, I don't know, make you, like, not be as, like, stupid and fucking annoying. That's, like, broadly speaking, the biggest reason for as to why people have to coddle to you, right? Because otherwise you just throw, like, a childlike hissy fit. Otherwise, if you don't get what you want, like, that's the biggest reason as to why.
One big, beautiful bill. And before I start, I want to tell you that I've never seen people so happy in our country because of that. Because so many different groups of people are being taken care of, the military, civilians of all types, jobs of all types. We're adding things like the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, child tax credits. So many things are being added that we wouldn't even have time to discuss them. When we were doing it, John Thune and Mike Johnson right there, I see Mike, what a job they've done. What a job they've done. But, you know, it was supposed to be in 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 different bills. And I was in one of the fake news shows, and I said, let's do it in we want one big, beautiful bill. I said that to this newscaster, and I think a lot of the...
Do you remember, like, how Republicans complained about, like, how there shouldn't be, like, bills that are, like, 10 pages or like, more? And this dumbass bill is, like, 880 fucking pages, dude. It's fucking complete nonsense. And as for, like, all the economic centers that are going to be helped... Is there really, like, any evidence? Like, maybe, like, fossil fuels is probably going to see some more help because of, like, the cuts to, like, the green tax credits. It's mostly, like, for the most part, the only thing that, like, the Trump big beautiful bill really accomplishes is, well, cut the threadbare social safety net that exists within the United States in order to be able to just, like, I don't know, justify, like, what, like a $4 trillion tax cut for the fucking rich, basically. It's not a $4 trillion tax cut. Not exactly accurate. It's going to raise the debt and the deficit by that much over the next 10 years. But, like, it's meant to just cut taxes. Like, what? Millions of children are going to lose their school meals. Millions of people are going to lose their fucking health insurance because of this stuff. Like, about 17 million people or something is, like, the counts. Like, the only people who are going to suffer from this bill is poor people. Like, that's the point. But then again, Republicans don't have a problem with, like, poor people suffering. That's, like, their whole modus operandi.
congressmen and senators were watching, and they said, let's name the bill that, the one big, beautiful bill. And that's what we did. And what we've done is put everything into one bill. It's never happened before. It's the biggest bill of its type in history. We've never had anything like that before. Nothing like that. They thought
so
was impossible
big,
to
so
get passed.
beautiful.
And actually, I liked it because we had so much in there that no matter who you are, there was something in that bill that would make your congressman or your senator or your congresswoman, much more importantly, raise their hand and support. Right, Lisa? So that was something, and it was really something special.
God, it's so funny that... It's so funny that he points out Lisa Murkowski specifically because she was pretty much in position to completely kill the bill, and then like she got some random carve out for like 160 people within like the entirety of the United States, and whoa, crazy. For what was it? I think it was like whalers or something, and that's what made her end up signing on to the bill. Even though she was saying, like, oh, I have, like, so many problems with this bill. I really don't like this bill at all. It's like, fucking bullshit, dude. You never gave a fuck about any of that stuff. You know, you could have killed the bill, and you had, like, just complete, like, no backbone in order to do any of that. You're just a coward, dude. Like, just complete, utter cowardice.
So the American people gave us a historic mandate in November. We won everything. We won the swing states, all 7 swing states. We won every one. That rarely happens. We won the popular vote. We won the districts, 2,750 to 500.
Again, the funny thing about the popular vote is that he did win the popular vote, but like it's a popular vote that wasn't even the fucking majority of the vote. It was like 49.9% or some shit. It's really, really funny.
5. That's why when you look at a map, it's all red, a little blue on each end, but it's all red. And by the way, red means Republican, just in case. But
So
we made promises, and it's really promises made, promises kept, and we've kept them. This is a triumph of democracy on the birthday of democracy, and I have to say that...
You know, what he's technically saying here is true. Yeah, it is promises made, promises kept. He has been implementing all the wretched, like, nonsense in Project 2025 through the one big, beautiful bill, folks. Let me tell you. So big, so beautiful.
People are happy. They're happy. And I listened to a broadcast, and I read a couple of articles. They have...
Are people happy? What is the approval rating of the big, beautiful bill? I'm curious. If that's even out yet. Approval rating of the big, beautiful bill. Trump's big, beautiful bill has a big image issue. Share of Americans who oppose the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Quinnipiac, 55%. A Fox poll. This is a Fox poll, and it's at 59%. Oof. Like, even the stuff that's, like, probably, like, more, like, liberally leaning, like, a Washington Post Ipsos poll, 42%. That's a strong plurality. And most of it, Quinnipiac, that's a majority. A Fox poll, that's a majority. KFF, I don't know exactly what KFF is. It's 64% fucking to say that they oppose the One Big Beautiful Bill. Yeah, it's incredible, dude. Like, people don't like this. What? Let's see. But here, like, again, the intrigue. KFF's polling found that while most Republicans had favorable opinion of the bill, when broken down by whether respondents are members of the MAGA movement, the results differed. Among MAGA-supporting Republicans and Republican-leaning independents, 72% viewed the bill favorably, whereas only 33% of non-MAGA supporters agreed. So basically, if you're like a moderate Republican, you do not really like this bill at all whatsoever. It's just silly, dude. But when Republicans and MAGA supporters heard the legislation would increase the uninsured rate in the country and decrease funding for local hospitals, favorability in the KFF poll plummeted by at least 20 points. Woof. Again, like, it really depends on how a lot of this is fucking generally asked. Like, even the Fox News polls is crazy, dude. Just, like, how much people just... They don't like this bill. It is a really, really bad unpopular bill. And, like, I think it's only going to get worse once it gets fully implemented after the fucking midterms. Because, again, you know, gotta make sure you get, like, one extra vote out of, like, the cult following before you completely fuck them over, you know?
They should have voted for it. They didn't vote for tax cuts. They didn't vote for taking care of people. They didn't vote, not one vote. And we knew that because the hatred of...
Because it's just a bad bill, dude. It's a bad bill that just, all it does is just cut Medicaid or Medicare. Like, that's all it does. It just cuts social safety net programs for more tax cuts for the rich and helps codify your previous fucking tax cuts. Like, Yeah. Dude, if there's like another fucking giant recession that happens in like 2030 or some shit, like the Great Recession of 2032 or some shit, I'm pointing to this.
Either the country or me or both is so great. They didn't vote at all, and it's terrible. But I just have to say, they have a routine.
Bill.
It's terrible, they say. Terrible, terrible. You saw that guy standing up for hours yesterday. Didn't know what he was even doing there. I said, when's he sitting down? He had a towel. He's wiping his face. That's not too elegant. But what is he? I said, what is he doing for so long? And he couldn't criticize the bill. He was criticizing everyone else and everything else.
It's a filibuster. That's how it works. You know, you sit up there and you just talk. It's kind of the point. You stand there and you talk for a long time. That's what a filibuster is. Trump, I will admit, like Hakeem Jeffries' fucking filibuster accomplished absolutely nothing, but that's how it works. That's what it does.
So they've developed, and this is according to the news media, they've developed a standard line, and we can't let them get away with it. Oh, it's dangerous. Oh, everybody's going to die. It's actually just the opposite. Everybody's going to live. This is just the opposite. And I just want you to know, if you see anything negative put out by Democrats, it's all a con job. And they said, and they compared it to just like the con job of Russia, 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 and all of the other things.
Russia,
that
Russia,
51
folks.
intelligence agent said, and the laptop from hell. It came from Russia, they said. No, it didn't come. A lot of things come from Russia. That didn't come from Russia. And it was all proven out to be a fake job, and that's what they're doing with this. So we just have to look forward, fellas. Look forward and just say what it is, because
Do we really need to like relitigate Russiagate, dude? Like your associates were caught. Like they were caught. The Robert Mueller report proved that Paul Manafort worked with the Russians to get during Hillary Clinton. Like quite literally, he got indicted for this. Like, okay, dude.
It's the most popular bill ever signed in the history of our country, whether you're military or...
Yeah, most popular bill. Yeah, it's a very popular bill, guys. Very, very popular.
or anybody else. This is the most popular bill ever signed. And it includes the largest tax cut in American history, the largest spending cut, $1.7 trillion, and yet you won't even notice it. Just waste, fraud, and abuse in American history. So you have the biggest tax cut, the biggest spending cut, the largest border security investment in American history. We won't have strong borders, and the only thing is we want...
Yeah, dude, give ICE, like, more money in comparison to, like, a bunch of militaries in Europe. It's fucking crazy, dude. What is ICE gonna do with all this fucking money? Maybe give a bunch of it to Kristi Noem so she can, like, keep gallivanting about with, like, a fucking cowboy hat and a lasso or some shit. Like, it's ridiculous, dude.
To have great elections too. You need strong borders and elections, and my people have promised me that we're going to go into elections and we're going to make sure they're not rigged, that they're not sullied. We're going to make sure that the elections are going to be fair. You need two things. You need strong borders and you need fair elections. And we're going to make sure on the elections also, and our armed forces are one of the most vital military modernizations of all time. It will take place. So we rebuilt our military in our first term, and now we're going to...
Yeah, who's ready for, like, pole vigilantism to become a thing? Like, all these, like, weirdo, like, freaks being paid by the Republican Party for this, like, stupid-ass bill in order to make sure that people vote in the correct way or something. Like, more polling locations probably being closed and, like, Democrat fucking strongholds by, like, Republican governors and shit like that. It's complete fucking nonsense, dude.
And remodernize our military, including building a great golden dome all over our land so that if they get nasty with us, it's going to be knocked down. It's going to make any of the golden domes. They call them the iron domes. We're calling ours the golden dome because we did the iron domes, and we do sort of everything. If you want
I'm
to
going to give them the piss dome.
I want to thank
I'm
everyone
going to piss on everyone
to get this bill on my desk, and many of them are here, and I'm not going to mention all their names because we'll be standing here, but I have to mention a few. And especially I want to thank Vice President J.D. Vance, who's been fantastic. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who's been incredible. We have somebody that it was a passion. I think he actually loved it. It wasn't easy, but he loved it. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who's right here. Speaker, thank you very much. What a job, and he worked so closely with the Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who's a fantastic guy, and those two are a team that is not going to be beat. When you look at them and you look at their counterparts on the other side, it's not even close. I want to thank both of you people for doing an incredible job. Thank you very much, John and Mike. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, a brave man. Steve, you know, he suffered a tragedy a number of years ago. I was at his hospital bedside that night with Melania, with our First Lady, and he had no chance. The doctor said he has very little chance, and you look better today than you did then. You didn't look particularly good that night, I will say. But I learned one thing, his beautiful wife loved him. She was a disaster, right?
What the fuck is this, like, weird fucking, like... LARP shit. I mean, he's always done this, like, thanking, like, weird people, like, in this, like, really weird way when he gets, like, a legislative success, but, like, blaming people whenever, like, he gets, like, any slight criticisms and people are saying, like, wow, your bill and everything that you're doing kind of sucks right now. You know, the typical, like, mafioso, like, racketeering sort of stuff. Like, you know, you could take what's, like, the saying? You can take I don't know, the New York out of the person, but you can't take the New Yorker out of their psyche or some shit. Yeah, you know, people know that the broader saying that I'm sort of here. Like, it's like the very sort of, like, New Yorker mafioso sort of, like, attitude being like, you know, I thank you for, you know, your wife is wonderful. You're doing a great job staying in line, staying loyal to me, specifically, very important that you stay loyal to me. You know, this, like, whole idea that, like, I don't know, like, it's all about loyalty above all else, and there's, like, nothing else that really matters. Because, again, like, this is gonna go really well over with the American people. This big, beautiful bill.
I told him, I said, Steve, I can only tell you one thing. I was with your family and I was with your wife, and your wife was devastated. She loves you. I've seen a lot of wives that, they don't seem to be so concerned in those situations.
Like, here's the thing, like, real quick, like, we're already seeing direct impacts of the big, beautiful bill. It's, I think it was in Arkansas, right? Because the thing that it's going to suffer the most from Medicaid cuts is, again, going to be, like, rural fucking hospitals. Like, quite literally. The rural hospitals rely on Medicare and Medicaid in order to have funding. And the reason for that is because, again, a lot of like private institutions are not going to service those particular areas because they don't stand to make a lot of money. But there's people there that still need care. There has to be a hospital there. But what is it? It's Curtis, Arkansas, I think. Curtis, Arkansas. It's a small little rural hospital, I think. I think it was in Arkansas. That a 900-person town, which voted like plus 74% for fucking Trump. And, well, guess what? Here's how they repay you. Is by like getting rid of the one hospital that fucking existed. It's Arkansas. It's a hospital. Where is it? Here we go. Curtis is a small town of 900 people in rural southwest. I was in Nebraska. Whatever. The Curtis Medical Center announced yesterday it was closing. After more than 30 years, it is the only healthcare provider in the community. They blame Trump's Medicaid cuts. And this is a region that voted for Trump at plus 74%. Unfortunately, the current financial environment driven by anticipated federal budget cuts to Medicaid has made it impossible for us to continue operating all of our services, many of which have faced financial challenges for years. Community Hospital CEO Troy Bruntz said in a statement, the clinic will wind down its services over the coming months. The Nebraska Hospital Association has been pushing back against Medicaid cuts in the one big beautiful bill being considered in Congress. But again, I don't think Trump knows about the. I don't think Trump really knows, to be honest, that it knows about who's the sort of like what was in the sort of the bill itself, right? Because he talks about constantly no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and well, the main thing that gets cut was Medicaid, well, quite literally. And Medicare. Those are the two main things that get fucking cut in this goddamn bill. Like what? Curtis voting. Like here. Just to get to an idea. Like, Trump supporters. I didn't want to get this added to my fucking bookmark bar. Whatever. Like, Trump supporters. I need people to understand. Dude, this is who's going to suffer the most. It's you guys. You guys are the ones who are going to suffer from this stuff. It's not going to be Democrats. It's not going to be, like, independents. It's not going to be, like, I don't know, blue-haired SJWs, although they're going to suffer as well because of this. You people are the ones who are going to suffer the most. It's you guys. You know, I don't know, like, yet again, the Felford Again Award, as always, being given to the, I don't know, the Republicans as always.
But that's the kind of wife you don't want. But you have a great, beautiful wife who was really there, and you really have done. You're a very brave guy, and Mike and John and everybody that's standing with you knows it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. House Majority Whip, this is a guy who's great. When I have a problem, I call him up, and he gets it done. He's a tough cookie. I don't know why he's not the governor of Minnesota.
Tough
he comes from
cookie,
Minnesota. He's like, look, he goes, no, I don't want to run for governor. You know, come to think of it, I think that's a good idea. You would win so easily. The guy is terrible. You would win. You just have to take a look at that handsome face of yours, and you'd win. Tom Emmer, everybody. He did a great job. I think you should consider that, although we don't want to lose him, do we? We don't want to. Let's say we are. I think say we are. What a job you did. And Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso, who's incredible. Senate Finance Chairman Mike Crapo. Thank you, Mike. What a job. What a job. He knows that tax stuff. Him and Jason, they really know their stuff. Senate Budget Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham. What a good man he is.
They know that tax stuff.
I see a poll. He's 24 points up. That's not bad, Lindsey.
Again, you know, it's the stupid mafioso shit that he's doing right now. You know, the whole, like, LARP tier shit.
That's not bad. 24 points up in the great state of South Carolina. House Ways and Means Chairman Jason Smith. What a job. Thank you, Jason. Thank you. These people are great. These are great patriots. I have to call them out. House Budget Committee Chairman Jody Arrington. Jody, thank you very much. Jody has been good right from the beginning, and so many others, and they're all here, and they fully understand. They'll never speak to me again, but that's okay. It is what it is. But I just want to thank everybody. A lot of senators here, a lot of congressmen and women here. Lisa, thank you very much, by the way. I have to thank you. Thank you very much. You've been fantastic. So this bill will...
Now, I wonder why he's, again, thanking Lisa Murkowski. You did a very good job, Lisa, making sure that you stay in line. You know, we gave you those specific exemptions, you know. Like, quite literally, there was, like, a Democratic fucking hearing about this, you know, saying, like, yeah, there seems to be a lot of very specific state exemptions being done here. This is, like, the standard corruption of Washington, D.C., you know, each little, like, Republican is getting their specific little carve out to make sure that they can vote for the bill to stay in line and stay in compliance. Like, you know, it's complete, like, corruption all around. It's just rank complete nonsense.
Will fuel massive economic growth and lift up the hardworking citizens who make this country run. The factory workers, farmers, mechanics, waiters, waitresses, police officers, firefighters, coal miners. Coal is back. Beautiful. I said you can't use the word coal unless you precede it by saying clean, beautiful coal. But what, you know, China's right now building 68 coal generating plants, and we're putting up wind. It doesn't work, I will tell you. Aside from ruining our fields, our valleys, and killing all the birds, and being very weak and very expensive, all made in China. You know, I noticed something that with all of the windmills that China sends us, where we waste our money because it's the most expensive energy, I see that, you know, they make about 95% of them, the wind turbines. I have never seen a wind farm in China. Why is that? Somebody check that out. Tom Emmer, would you please check that out? But all the coal mines...
What is he fucking talking about, dude? Like, they don't benefit as much from, like, wind farms probably in China, right? Like, there's solar farms in fucking China. What the fuck is he talking about? And again, the point with, like, the stupid coal-fired power plants, like, the reason why China's building a bunch of coal-fired power plants is, again, because they're using this as, like, a quick transition to, like, more nuclear stuff. That's, like, the point of it, right? They're building a bunch now, for now, so while they quickly transition to other stuff. That's how you manage a power grid, like, quite literally. Like it's complete fucking nonsense. But, like, if you have, like, half a brain, like, you can understand stuff like this, but he doesn't. He wants to, like, here's the thing, like, the US is ready to, like, transition into, like, a more green energy grid. They can do this. They have, like, plenty of locations to get, like, a ton of like you know, like, big solar farms out in, like, the Nevada desert and, like, California. Plenty of, like, sunny states where they can make a ton of fucking power. But again, this motherfucker doesn't want to do any of that because, I don't know, he has, like, this particular idea that, you know, people love being coal miners, you know, they love going into the mines to mine for coal. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. And yeah, you know, China has the more advanced EVs and battery technology. Like, Pakistan is installing, like, way more solar. Same with, like, the UAE, for example. A bunch of, like, these Gulf states are also doing, like, a bunch of solar farm stuff as well. It's the stupidest shit on the planet, and this motherfucker just wants to regress because he has, like, this, like, idea, this, like, particular fixation in his head constantly about, like, you know, when was America truly great? When we had children in the coal mines, folks. That's where it is. You know, this, like, late 1800s, like, autistic fixation that he has.
Miners we love and the truck drivers. In this act, we have officially made the Trump tax cuts permanent. That's the largest tax cut in the history of our country, added to substantial other cuts, which is you're going to see like a rocket ship. You know, we're setting all sorts of economic records right now, and that's before this kicks in. After this kicks in, our country is going to be a rocket ship economically, and we've delivered no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security.
Yeah, he's lying about that. He's also not being truthful in terms of the no tax on Social Security stuff. Like, that's not exactly true. Like, we can look into that claim, right? No tax on Social Security. Not exactly an accurate claim. Like, it's not even in the bill that he's talking about no tax on tips. The no tax on tips thing isn't even exactly accurate to begin with. Like, he's just lying about the fact that there was, like, no taxes on Social Security. It's just not there. He's just lying.
Security for our great seniors. And that's why when you hear things like that, this is it's the biggest bill of its kind ever done by far. But it's we are going to have a situation, we are going to have something where people are going to realize the level of success and popularity of this bill. And sort of to close it out, it makes the child tax credit permanent for 40 million American families. And to increase the car affordability, it makes interest on a new car payment. So
remember when the Democrats let the child tax credits, like, they just let that sunset for, like, no fucking reason, and now this complete troglodyte can, like, put in, like, a worse version of it and just, like, hawk and be like, look at me, look at how good I did it, and just, like, lie to people. It's you know, complete fucking idiocy.
Never happened before. You buy a car, you borrow money, you're allowed to deduct for income tax purposes your payment of interest, you're allowed to deduct it. It's never happened before, so run out and buy a car. But I have to tell you, it's only good, Mike, if it's made in America. If it's made in another country, you don't get it. And to protect 2 million family farms and other small businesses, we're eliminating the estate tax or the death tax. So if you want to leave your farm or your small business, but the farms are really, they've been devastated, to your children, if you love your children. By the way, if you don't love your children, don't even listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't, like, it's not even true that he's eliminating estate taxes. Like, what the fuck is he talking? Again, the only people who pay more into like estate taxes are people who are rich. Like, he's just admitting, like, oh, look, I got rid of the estate tax. You know, look at this thing that I'm directly giving to like rich people. You know, because that's like the only people who complain about fucking estate taxes constantly is the rich.
But if you love, would you live? Yes, I think you love your child. This one loves Barron. So I don't know if we're a small business. I think we're not. I'm not sure that we qualify. I'm sorry, darling. But you know, it was devastating. Farmers had to go out and borrow money. And by the way, is that Pam Bondi? Pam Bondi, raise your hand. Thank you, Pam, for being here. Attorney General, she's done an incredible job. So there won't be any, think of this, there won't be any death tax. You're not going to have to go borrow money. Your parents pass away and the farm goes into the bank's hands and gets foreclosed. That's not going to happen. And with 100% expensing for new investments, we're cutting taxes for every manufacturer who builds, expands. And we have expansion at the highest level that we've ever had it. We have hundreds of factories, including car plants and AI. It's coming into our country at levels we've never seen. And to conclude, not only will we have the strongest economy on earth, we're also going to have the strongest borders on earth. And last month, did you see the number? 0 people crossed our border. 0 illegal people. And that's after.
Yeah, I wonder why no one wants to cross into the United States at the moment. I couldn't possibly think of anything. Couldn't be because of like the little Gestapo running around trying to like, I don't know, catch and like deport people constantly. Yeah, I wonder why people aren't trying to come over. I don't know.
Joe Biden let 21 million people, many of them people from gangs and prisons and drug.
You know, he's lying about that again. He didn't let 21 million. Well, you know what? Pulling it up again. Temporary protected status is something that's existed since, like, the 90s. This is the shit that Joe Biden brought in. Again, about 1.2 billion people of the roughly 21.6 million non-citizen immigrants living in the U.S. are either receiving or eligible for TPS. And again, you want to know why a lot of these are fucking Venezuelans? I've done this fucking point constantly. His attempted fucking goddamn coup on Venezuela that happened in 2019. As a result of this coup failing because of Juan Guaido and like 3 other dudes in a fucking trench coat getting spotted out by Venezuelan fishermen, for fuck's sake, it turns out that crazy, you slapped a bunch of goddamn sanctions on the Venezuelans for stopping a coup attempt. It caused hyperinflation in the economy, and as a result, a bunch of Venezuelans left the country. Whoa, shocker! I know, it's crazy, it's ridiculous, but yeah, I wonder why this particularly fucking happened. Moron.
Drug lords and people that were mentally unbalanced, they let them into our country. We're getting them out at record numbers, and we have an obligation to, and we're doing it. So as we approach the 250th anniversary of America's founding exactly 1 year from now, we are creating an economy that delivers wealth for the middle class, a border that is sovereign and secure, and a military that is unmatched, unequaled anywhere in the world. And you saw that. And what a beautiful sight that was, especially after watching what they did just a short while ago. The golden age of America is upon us. We are in the golden age. It's going to be a period of time, the likes of which I don't think this country has ever experienced before.
Yeah, golden age of you fucking pissing on America. That's kind of, I mean, that's technically true, you know, like him pissing on fucking America, the rotting husk of a carcass, finally pissing on it and just letting it completely die out for the complete decrepit, necrotic husk that it is. Yeah, sure, dude.
We're going to make America great again, and it's happening very fast. We love you. We thank you for being here. Enjoy the fireworks tonight. And First Lady, I want to thank you. You have been unbelievable. You think it's easy being First Lady? It's not. Thank you all very much. Happy 4th of July. God bless you all. Thank you very much, everybody.
Now, are they gonna sign the bill? Yep, there it is. That's the signing of the bill. And now it's official. There you go. How does the United States of America die? With the round of applause of the fucking elite. All one big fucking elite, completely and utterly surrounded by a bunch of other fucking elites, signing the final death nail of fucking America. Yeah, you know, about time, I suppose, you know. Look at all these fucking whiteys over here celebrating the death of a country, you know, the final sort of like stabbing on it. So, you know, That's cool. That's great. That's fantastic. Why don't we go into like some other like funny things from like Donald Trump? We're gonna do a little bit of fun stuff because again, fundamentally speaking, we've talked about the big beautiful bill. The tax cuts only benefit mostly the rich from like 2019. The cuts to Medicaid and Medicare are going to mostly destroy rural hospitals. It's already having an effect. And again, all of this for the express purposes of more tax cuts to the rich. And whoa, even amongst this fucking baseline fucking polling, all the polling that's been going on, once the positions were actually cleared to the American people, it turns out this shit is already underwater and incredibly fucking unpopular with the American people. But again, you know, Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about the like, I don't know, suffering of Americans. He has never at all cared about any of that stuff. But, you know, so here's again, you know, him saying the lie. We're delivering no tax on Social Security. It's not in the bill. It's just not there. It's not there. No talk about Social Security at all whatsoever.
Just as I promised, we're making the Trump tax cuts permanent and delivering no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax.
Yeah, also the no tax on tips thing, that's also a lie. There's nothing about that at all that says, like, there's going to be no taxes on tips at all. He's just lying.
Tax on Social Security for our great seniors, right? Front row Joe. We got a lot of front row Joes here. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
We love our seniors. I need to get them out to vote for me once again in the midterms, where we're probably going to get completely and utterly schlacked, folks. Let me tell you.
Well, someday I'm buying that suit. I'm telling you. Full country.
Yep, just no evidence of this at all. Let's see. Very importantly for Iowa, this bill rescues over 2 billion family farms.
And very importantly for Iowa, this bill rescues over 2 billion family farms from the so-called estate tax or the death tax. In other words, before Trump, you'll lose.
Like I said before, the main people who benefit from estate taxes being gone are people with giant fucking estates, you know, like of people who are going to inherit it. The only people who benefit are, well, people like himself and his other rich buddies. Like, again, who are the people who have estates? It's the rich. In general, everyone who owns assets has an estate, which includes everything they own upon their death. They can range from a modest home to personal belongings to vast properties and financial holdings. The person responsible for managing the estate after death is typically called an executor. There's a will or an administrator if there is no will. Again, the main people who have larger estates who tend to get paid more for estate taxes are the rich, because they have way more fucking bigger estates and they typically have to pay more taxes into that stuff. It's ridiculous. It's just that.
Losing farms to the banks. Before Trump, you were losing the farms like nobody's ever seen before. You love your children. You don't feel so well. You pass away. You leave everything to your children, and they have to pay a big estate tax, or a death tax as we call it. And they couldn't do it. They go out and borrow money, and all of a sudden the bank is foreclosing on the farm. Not going to happen. You have no more estate tax. You have no more death tax to pay.
Again, just like, it's any evidence of this? Again, the only people who are going to like benefit more and more from the estate tax being gone are just rich people who have much larger estates. So here's like the thing that people are making a stink about, and I didn't even know this. This is like a bit this term known as Shylocks, which I didn't know that this was a anti-Semitic slur. This is like some old-timey like fucking slur. You know, like when fucking I don't know, Richard Spencer, when he was like having a complete screed and just said like a particular slur for people who are 1/8 black, right? This is like some old-timey like New York tier shit or some shit, right? Like, you know, this is like the kind of anti-Semitism that fucking Trump generally sort of like engages in, where he thinks that like, well, the reason why I want like Jews to be like my bankers in particular is because they're the best at being bankers, aren't you? Even though there's like historical reasons for as to why like Jews tended to be bankers, it's because, broadly speaking, as like a reason for as to why this is the case, and there's historical precedent for this, is throughout the Holy fucking Roman Empire, when a lot of Jews were migrating from different parts of Europe because they were getting expelled from those fucking goddamn kingdoms, a lot of them ended up going into the Holy Roman Empire. This was around like 11th and 11th century, and the main thing that was like going on here in particular is because of, whoa, all that migration caused a lot of tension amongst a lot of different local populations, and I could be, I might not be getting the history 100% correct here, but it caused a lot of tensions, especially like religious tensions between the local populaces and the populace that were coming in, the large Jewish minority that was like beginning to congregate here. So much so that the local lords and a lot of like barons and even like I don't know of like the different sort of parts of the Holy Roman Empire made deals with these minority communities, saying like, okay, we will let you stay here, but only if you agree to handle our money, because again, for there to be a good Christian, they cannot commit the sin of usury. And that is why a lot of Jewish people ended up to sort of, well, started becoming like a sort of like a disproportionate minority that ended up being bankers. That is why Jews disproportionately started becoming bankers more and more, because of that like little piece of history.
But if you love them, or if you love somebody that you're leaving it to, think of that. No death tax, no estate tax, no going to the banks and borrowing from, in some cases, a fine banker, and in some cases, Shylocks and bad people. But they...
Like, I guess, like, I don't know, like, they're all inherently bad. Funnily enough, it's really, really funny that the ADL, actually, I think they did come out to say about the... There you go, see? The term Shylock evokes a centuries-old anti-Semitic trope about Jews and greed that is extremely offensive and dangerous. President Trump's use of that term is very troubling and irresponsible. It underscores how lies and conspiracies about Jews remain deeply entrenched in our country. Words from our leaders matter, and we expect more from the President of the United States. You know, at least they got this one instead of like the Nazi soy loot from like Elon Musk. You know, good job. You know. Yeah, they think, like, Shylock is too far, but not Elon Sig Heiling. It's fucking stupid, dude. But yeah, like, here we go. Final fucking meme in all of this, okay? Like, again, about Trump being, talk about undocumented migrants because they're getting constantly black-bagged all the time. We gotta work for with the farmers and hotels. And people that have hotels and leisure properties, too. Because, again, he gets directly impacted because he probably... at his hotels mostly hires undocumented migrant workers. It's really fucking stupid. Oh yeah, it is bad to say that term. It is explicitly an anti-Semitic slur used for bankers. Like, the ADL is correct when they are saying this, right? Like, that's kind of the point.
Working on legislation right now where farmers, look, they know better. They work with them for years. You got cases where, not here, but just even over the years, where people have worked for a farm on a farm for 14, 15 years and they get thrown out pretty viciously, and we can't do it. We got to work with the farmers and people that have hotels and leisure properties.
So are you gonna like tell your little Nazi Barbie Christine Ohm to stop like going on the Californian farms and stuff like that, or like what's going on here exactly?
Properties do. We're gonna work with them, and we're gonna work very strong and smart, and we're gonna put you in charge. We're gonna make you responsible, and I think that's gonna make a lot of people happy. Now, serious radical right people, who I also happen to like a lot, they may not be quite as happy, but they'll understand, won't they? Do you think so, Madam Secretary? Look at you with a white hat on. Do you think they'll understand that you're the one that brought this whole situation up? Brooke Rollins brought it up, and she said, so we have a little problem. The farmers are losing a lot of people, and we figured it out, and we have some great stuff being written, and let the farmers be responsible. And then if the farmers don't do a good job, we'll throw them the hell out of the country. We'll let the illegals stay, and we'll throw the farmer the hell out. Okay, get ready, farmer. I'm telling you. But violent. Now, okay, so the fake news will write that. Donald Trump will throw farmers out of our country. They will write it because whenever we're working on.
Wait, but you were throwing farmers out of your fucking country. Like, quite literally, you were. Like, do we need to, like, pull up the fucking videos of, like, I don't know, like, farmers getting, like, chased and being afraid of going to, like, work and stuff? We could find those, right? Yeah, sure, we could do that. Right, California, farm raids by ICE? Like, no, this was a thing that was happening. Well, I mean, look at this shit. ICE agents chased farm workers during Oxnard raid. Now, quite literally. Like, seriously. Like, this is fucking happening. It's like fucking slave catching, for fuck's sake. Like, this is fucking wild. But again, like it's being said here before, again, these motherfuckers don't care. Like, he's taking his, like, little victory lap, signing the, melt the poor into a soup bill. The big beautiful bill. We don't care about the poor. We just want them to suffer. Like, we just want to go after the poor. We don't give a shit about them. And again, like, the only people who are going to suffer from this, we've already laid this out threadbare. Rural hospitals are already closing as a result from this. the Trump tax cuts only benefited the rich. Like, that's quite literally the problem. Again, new research shows that workers who earned less than $114,000 on average in 2016 saw no change in earnings. And this is not going to be made any different with its codification as well. And again, the big, beautiful bill, broadly speaking, is not very, very fucking popular. And, like, what else is really supposed to be said here? This is an unpopular dog shit bill. And again, it's just complete fucking nonsense, right? Like, that's like the whole point of this. It is an unpopular bill that hurts only one set of people and one set of people only. And these are the people that Republicans have always hurt throughout time immemorial in terms of their legislation. It hurts the poor and just benefits the rich. That is the exact purpose of, well, you know, this complete, like, wretched, terrible bill being signed into law now. So, you know, hopefully the Republicans are ready to face the consequences of this. And guess what? Like, this is not going to get undone in, like, anytime soon, right? A lot of these provisions are going to be in place for at least 10 fucking years. It's going to take a whole generation at the very least to undo the damage that is probably being caused by this. So guess what? You know, just like has been said with the Supreme Court, how that's going to be affected for like at least 1 or 2 generations. This bill is also going to affect the average American for at least 1 to 2 generations. So, you know, time for more feckless, ineffective leadership and more malicious leadership being done by, well, both parties at this point in order to just make one person suffer overall, and that is you, the American people. Because that's what's really going to happen in reality. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.